It's a pleasure to be with you today. We will discuss a very important topic, which is essentials of marketing. The first part will discuss introduction to marketing. Firstly, I would like to discuss the course objectives. The first objective is to identify the concept of marketing and the role of marketing in maximizing sales. The second is related to how to conduct a research before designing a marketing plan. And third objective is related to how to design a marketing plan and how to control the plan itself. Regarding the definition of marketing, marketing is defined to be the process that is responsible for identification, anticipation, and satisfaction of customer needs. Anticipation, it means proactive marketing. Marketing is a management function and set of process for generating, communicating, and delivering customer value. Marketing is responsible for satisfying customer needs. Marketing is a philosophy that places customer satisfaction at the center of all organizational planning and decision making. We have three marketing concepts or eras: production era or production concept or production orientation, which focus on maximizing the production capacity. Let's think about Henry Ford example. Henry Ford, when introduced his product, which was a car, he said that if you need a car, it has to be black. Then we have sales orientation. It's called push strategy. We have to focus on the intermediaries. And finally, the marketing orientation, which is a pull strategy. We have to focus on the end user. If we are going to discuss the main role of the marketing manager in any company, the first step is analysis. He or she has to analyze the market. The second step is planning. We have to design a marketing plan. Third step is implementation, to start implementing and executing the plan. The fourth and last step is evaluation, which means designing KPIs in order to measure the success of the plan. We have to differentiate three important expressions: needs, wants, and demands. Need, it means unshaped desire. I need to eat. Want, it means specific desire. I need to eat burger. Demand, it's a want plus purchasing power. I need to eat burger and I can afford this product. We have a very important concept in marketing, which is STP, segmentation, targeting, and positioning, and we will discuss this topic in details. We have very important topic and concept in marketing, which is the CSR, corporate social responsibility, and usually companies do the CSR with the objective of increasing customer loyalty. And CSR, it's the obligation of the organization to increase its positive effect and decrease its negative effect on the society. Customers have four rights, and this concept is created by the American President John Kennedy. The right to be informed, the right of safety, you have to give them a safe product, the right to choose, and finally the right to be heard. It means I have to listen to my customer, which is known as VOC, Voice of Customers. Regarding the strategic planning, implementation, and control process, we have to start with the planning, and planning starts with corporate and ends with product planning. Then we have to go with the implementation phase, which goes from organizing to implementation. And finally, we have to set the different KPIs in order to be sure that we are going in the right direction. And if there is any deviation, we have to take a corrective action. Regarding the marketing planning process, it starts with business mission, vision, and corporate objectives, then marketing auditing, which will lead us to SWOT analysis and business objectives. Business objectives will help us to do the marketing objectives and strategies. And finally, we will have an action plan with an implementation and timeline with the aid of monitoring and control, which is the KPIs, the different key performance indicators that can help us to measure the actual with the plan. SWOT analysis and SWOT strategies. We have strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. We should not be confused between the strengths, weaknesses with opportunities and threats. The differentiation between both of them is that the strength and the weakness are internal, while the opportunity and threat are external. After conducting the SWOT analysis, we have to apply the SWOT strategies. We have 3 SWOT strategies: the conversion of the weaknesses into strengths, the conversion of the threats into opportunities, and how to match the strengths with the opportunities. Let's start discussing the marketing strategies. We have 2 main marketing strategies. We have competitive strategies by Michael Porter, and we have growth strategies by Ansoff. Regarding the second type of strategies or marketing strategies, which is competitive strategies by Michael Porter, we have 3 main strategies: cost leadership, differentiation, and focus. Cost leadership, it means selling the product with a very low price. So I'm going to hit my competitors through setting very low prices for my products. For this strategy to succeed, we have some situations. Firstly, the product quality should be middle or low. The market demand should be high. And actually, the company should adopt a mass production concept. If this situation is not applicable, so we have to go with diversification. When we hear the word diversification, we have to remember a competitive advantage, because in order to differentiate your product, you have to use a competitive advantage. For example, Volvo is using the safety as a competitive advantage. Mercedes is using design, colors, or performance as competitive advantage. The third strategy is called focus. Rolls-Royce is using the focus on hitting the competition. Focus, it means concentrating on a very naive or small or niche segment in order to compete. Let's take a nice example of a company that is using the 3 strategies. We are talking about Toyota. Toyota is using the cost leadership with Yaris, the differentiation with the Camry, and the focus with the Lexus. Let's start with the Ansoff, the growth strategies, how to grow and maximize your sales. Ansoff has 4 main strategies under the umbrella of the growth strategies. The first one is market penetration. Second is product development. third is market development, and fourth is diversification. This matrix is based on the product and the market. We have two dimensions. One of them is the product, is it existing or new? And second is the market, is it existing and or new? Market penetration, it means existing product with existing market. And so how can I grow? To grow with the existing product with existing market through conversion of inactive customers into active customers. And the second tactic is to increase the consumption of the actual customers. Then let's go with the product development. The department which is responsible for product development is the R&D, research and development, and the products that are under research are called pipeline. So I can grow and maximize my sales and my profit through introducing new products. The third sub-strategy is market development through penetrating new geographical areas nationally and through penetrating global and foreign markets. Also, we can do that through using the same product with a new segment, like what happened with the Johnson & Johnson shampoo. They started with targeting babies, and then with the same product, they started to penetrate the adults, especially mothers. Finally, the diversification strategy, which is under the umbrella of the growth strategies. The first one is market penetration, second is product development, third is market development, and fourth is diversification. This matrix is based on the product and the market. We have two dimensions. One of them is the product, is it existing or new? And second is the market, is it existing and or new? Market penetration, it means existing product with existing market. And so how can I grow? To grow with the existing product with existing market through conversion of inactive customers into active customers. And the second tactic is to increase the consumption of the actual customers. Then let's go with the product development. The department which is responsible for product development is the R&D, research and development, and the products that are under research are called pipeline. So I can grow and maximize my sales and my profit through introducing new products. The third sub-strategy is market development through penetrating new geographical areas nationally and through penetrating global and foreign markets. Also, we can do that through using the same product with a new segment, like what happened with the Johnson & Johnson shampoo. They started with targeting babies, and then with the same product, they started to penetrate the adults, especially mothers. Finally, the diversification strategy, which means moving to either related or unrelated industries. If the market that I'm going to target is a related industry, it's called related diversification. If unrelated, it will be called unrelated diversification. In order for any company to design and implement a successful marketing plan, it should start with market research. Market research, it means collecting data either internally or externally in order to be able to set the right marketing objectives and strategies. Companies in Egypt should spend a lot of money in research in order to be able to have the right info and data before designing the objectives. In order to summarize the research process, we have a very nice British model. It's called DOT-CAR. The first D, it means define the issue. I have to know what is the reason behind this market research. The second letter is objectives. So I have to set the objectives of the market or marketing research. The third letter is D, which is how to design the right market research. Then C, which is collection of data. The next step is A, which is analysis of the data. And finally R, which is reporting. Who will report to whom? The agency will report the data and the findings of the research to the client. We have some expressions, we have to know it by heart in research. Primary versus secondary research, quantitative versus qualitative research. Primary and secondary research. Secondary research, it means the data which are already collected beforehand and actually are available. We have a question here. Can this data help me in solving the current issue? If the answer is no, so we have to start collecting the primary data. So the process here or the plan here is to start with the existing data, which is the secondary data, to analyze it. And then if we need more data, we have to go with the primary data. Then we have to discuss the difference between qualitative and quantitative data. For example, if I'm going to collect data regarding the sales of my direct competitor, so the research here is quantitative. What about if the objective is to collect the perception of the customer regarding my product or the competitor? Here, the research is a qualitative. We have a very famous type of qualitative research. It's called U&A study, usage and attitude study. Here, I'm going to collect the drivers of a choice, how customers think, what are the drivers behind the choice of the customers to a specific brand. So we have to know the importance of the U&A study regarding this plan. The second phase of the research is the analysis of the collected data. We have two types of analysis. We have qualitative analysis using in vivo software, and we have quantitative analysis using SPSS, which is a statistical package for social science. I cannot target all the market segments with a single product. So we have to apply the STP or segmentation, targeting, and positioning in order to be able to position our product to the right segment. Segmentation, it means dividing the total market into different units. Targeting, it means selecting the right unit. Positioning, how to put your brand in the mind of the customer. Let's start with the segmentation. We have a very famous segmentation variables, which are demographic segmentation, geographic segmentation, psychographic segmentation, and behavioristic segmentation. Demographic segmentation related to age, gender, lifestyle, religion, social class, income, and so. And we have a lot of examples related to this issue. For example, Apple, when segmenting its market, it has to consider the gender, because we have colors for women and colors for men. They have to consider the income, because the product is very expensive. Regarding the psychographic segmentation, we have personality and lifestyle. Personality is not an important factor in segmenting the market. Why? Because it's too difficult to be measured. But some industries, like the insurance industry, is using the personality. Why? Because insurance companies usually are focusing on obsessive personalities. The second psychographic factor for segmentation is lifestyle. Lifestyle is the way in which people spend their time and their money. We have a lot of lifestyles. For example, we have a healthy lifestyle. Which product is targeting the healthy lifestyle? Organic products. We have one-stop shopping. Which products is targeting one-stop shopping? Is the hypermarket. And so we have to consider the lifestyle. The third pillar for segmentation is geographic segmentation. Let's take a very famous example of Arma Group. Arma, when they introduced a lot of products like El Hanem, they were targeting Cairo and Alex because the product is expensive. Then they have to introduce two different low-priced products. So they started to conduct a market research. One of the two products was familiar with the Upper Egypt customer. They named it El Asil and they started to sell it in the Upper Egypt. The second one was named El Sa'ya and they started to position it in the Delta region. So this is a good example of geographic segmentation. Finally, the behavioristic segmentation. We have to use some factors like, for example, the benefits needed by the customer and the volume of purchase through the customer. So we have 4 pillars for segmentation. After segmenting the market, we have the targeting. We have 3 types of targeting: undifferentiated targeting, concentrated targeting, and differentiated targeting. The last step in the STP process is positioning, how to put your brand in the mind of the customer. In order to make sure that we are conducting the right positioning, we have a very nice map. It's called perceptual map, or it's called positional map. We have to do it as a research with the customer through the focus groups in order to make sure that our message was right and the customer actually reminds our product through the right criteria. This is a very important step in the marketing plan, which is STP, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Let's discuss one of the most important factors related to the marketing plan, which is the budget control. First, you are going to set the budget according to the forecast, and we will start spending the budget through different activities like advertising, sales, promotion, and so. The final step is to compare between the plan and the actual. And if there is any sort of deviation, we have to take what is known as corrective action. Let's discuss one of the most important factors related to the. What about the KPIs for measuring the success of the budget plan? We have a lot of factors. One of them is customer satisfaction. We have also sales, market share. So we have to use these indicators in order to make sure that we are spending in the right direction. We have here a very important question regarding the crisis of COVID-19. Should I reduce my marketing budget, or I have to use the same planned budget? It depends on a lot of factors. One of them is, what is your industry? We have some industries that considered COVID-19 to be an opportunity for them, and it was a threat for the other companies. So you have to know, are you dealing with COVID-19 as an opportunity or as a threat? If it's an opportunity for you, so you have to spend more in order to catch a lot of sales and to expand your market share. If it's a threat, so you have to decrease your spending. It's very important to know it, decrease or stop. There is no stop for the budget. You have to decrease, you have to regulate. So this is the answer for this important question. For a product or a service to be marketed, we have to set 7 items. All of them start with the letter P: product, price, place, and promotion. Product, either tangible to be goods or intangible to be services. The price is the cost that the customer is going to pay. The place, we have here 2 types of places. We have up market, which is a prestigious area, and we have down market, which is a poor and oriental area. Regarding the promotion, we have 5 main promotional tools: advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, direct marketing, and PR. What about the extra 3 P's? We have people, process, and physical evidence. People is the customer-facing employees. Process should be short and straight. And physical evidence, it's the tangible part of the intangible service. Regarding the first P, which is a product, we have a very important strategy here, which is a branding strategy, because branding will enhance the brand equity and actually will maximize customer loyalty. And also we have to know the different phases of the product life cycle, which starts with introduction, growth, maturity, and ends with the decline. The importance of studying the product life cycle is to customize your strategy according to the phase in which your product is existing. The price is a reflection of the product quality. We have a very important expression in price, which is psychological pricing. Psychological pricing means that customers will relate high price with high quality. Regarding the different pricing methodologies, we have cost plus, demand pricing, skimming, penetration, loss leader, and promotional pricing. The place, we have what is known as distribution strategies, which are intensive, selective, or exclusive. This will depend on the number of outlets. Regarding promotional tools, we can classify them into either above the line or below the line. All the above the line are broadcast, while below the line are narrowcast. IMC, or integrated marketing communication, it means integration between different factors, like, for example, the advertising, the sales promotion, the direct marketing. All of them should be integrated. So if I'm going to sell a product like, for example, Mercedes, the product here is very expensive, so I have to use a prestigious way of advertising. I should not do any sort of sales promotion in order not to affect the image of the product. And finally, I have to use, for example, the emails, which is matching with the social class of the targeted customers. The IMC contains a lot of factors, so we have to integrate the factors in order to reach a status of consistency. We cannot replace a factor with another factor. We have to select the factors in the right way in order to reach a status of synergy. What does synergy mean? Synergy means 1 + 1 = 3. So the IMC, or the integration here, is very important for the customer in order to reach the right way of positioning our products. The first P of the marketing mix is the product. Actually, we classify products into either tangible items like the goods, or intangible items like the services. Let's start with discussing the characteristics of the services. We have some characteristics for the services. First characteristic is intangibility. You cannot see or touch the service. The second is inseparability. You cannot separate the service from the service provider. The third is perishability. We cannot store services. Services, once produced, should be consumed. The fourth characteristic is variability. It's also called heterogeneity. Variability, it means services are different from time to time. An example of inseparability, you cannot separate the hairdressing from the hairdresser. Regarding the variability, we cannot guarantee or fix the quality of the service. For example, if you are going to a hospital with the same doctor, maybe the service quality today is completely different from the service quality next month. These characteristics mean that marketing services is too tough regarding marketing products. Regarding the marketing mix of the services, we have 7 P's. The first P is the product. The product here is intangible. The second P is the price. For prestigious services, we have to set very high prices. For example, the healthcare services, they set very high prices in order to communicate that the service quality is high. The third P is place or distribution. Prestigious services should operate in high markets or high-end markets like Zamalek, Muhandisin. The fourth is promotion. Promotion, it includes advertising, sales promotion, direct marketing, and personal selling. What about the extra 3 P's? We have people, process, and physical evidence. People, it means the customer-facing employees. We have to select the right people. They have to have good product knowledge. They have to know what is business etiquette. And also, they have to deal with customers in a polite and professional way. The process for the customer to be satisfactory, it has to be KAS. KAS, it means keep it simple and straight. And finally, the physical evidence. The physical evidence is the tangible part of the intangible service. The last P is the physical evidence. Physical evidence, it means the tangible part of the intangible service. Let's take an example. You are visiting a dentist. Here you are not taking a product. There is nothing tangible. So in order to evaluate the service, you have to focus on the tangible part. The tangible part is the layout of the place, the equipment, the dress code of the doctor and the assistant. So all of these factors can be considered to be the tangible part, which is the physical evidence. We have some examples about how some companies fail to understand the culture of different countries and accordingly they designed poor strategies. The first example is related to McDonald's in India because actually when they penetrated this market, because in India they introduced the original product which is a beef. This means very insulting issue for the Indian people because of their religion. The second case will be McDonald's in Vietnam. They failed in this market because of some factors like the tough competition in this market, like the pricing strategy, do not coping with the culture, and finally, and political issues that happened after the war. Nobody plans to fail, but he fails to plan. Let's start with the planning process or the marketing planning process. The main steps of any plan is the objectives, strategies, and implementation. But if we are going to discuss the detailed steps of the marketing plan, first we have to start with the executive summary, then situational analysis in order to see where am I. The third step is the marketing objectives. And in order for the objectives to be actualized, we have to use the strategies. Strategies will be converted into an action plan. The action plan needs a budget, and then we have to implement the 7 Ps. Finally, we have to use the KPIs or key performance indicators for a control process. Regarding the KPIs or the different factors to be used for monitoring the marketing plan, we have customer satisfaction, we have sales, we have market share, we have to use the benchmarking, especially the best practice benchmarking, and finally we have to conduct a cost-benefit analysis. What was spent and the ROI or return on investment. Throughout this program, we discussed the concept of marketing, how to develop a well-organized marketing plan, finally, how to design the different methodology in order to control and evaluate the progress of the plan. I hope that this course will be very fruitful for all of you. You have to know the importance of planning, and you have to spend the right budget in order to make this plan successful. And finally, do not forget that Success is a journey, not a destination.